Hello, my name is swissbianco. In this video I will talk about the best knife for everyday carry and for pretty much any chance if the doo-doo hit the fan. Pretty much everybody should have one or more of those knives, and of course it's a Swiss Army knife. In this case the 91mm handle length from Victorinox. That comes of course in many different variation, and I'm gonna point out actually three variations that will come in most handy, that are pretty common to find in USA and many other places over the world, either in a brand new in box variation or as a used knife, like from airport confiscation and places like that. And there you have then the chance to upgrade the color of the scales, whatever color you like. By the factory models there is a bit limitation on the scale color. As we see on top of the table here, on the left side is yellow, then red translucent is a little bit different than the regular red. Then we have white, we have blue translucent, and on the far right is solid blue. Those scales are available in regular or plus variation. The plus variation just is, in my opinion, the better one because you have more tools, but I'm gonna show that in a minute. So the 91mm Swiss Army knife is most common, next to the tiny 58mm one. That is the size of the classic one, the classic sock, but that comes also in many different variation. I'm not going to talk about this today. Such knife, the classic style, pretty much everybody should have too, because it's so convenient to carry on the keychain, and same as the 91mm. The people, the law enforcement, the police, other people, the kindergarten woman may not freak out as they see that, because they recognize it as a Swiss Army knife and not like a tool, like a weapon kind of thing. But that of course can vary on the surrounding, on the area where you are. So with the 91mm Swiss Army knife, I would not go with the Spartan, with the regular version which has only limited tools. I would upgrade to the version that has all the basic tools in it, plus either the saw, as we have on this sample, or the scissor. So we have on both basically the same main tools. It can vary if you have the Phillips or the corkscrew. Most of them have the corkscrew. That is something a bit less to worry about if you have the Phillips here, or if you have the small screwdriver with for the A-glasses and the corkscrew. That's up to you, but the main feature is either the saw blade or the scissor. That's something to consider. Or if you wanna spend a bit more money on the variation that actually has both in it, the saw blade and the scissor, those knives are used less around like the other two mentioned. Also the knife is simply a little bit thicker. We see it has one layer more, that's about 3mm, that it is thicker than the other ones, but still it's pretty light. That is the benefit on the 91mm construction. It's lighter than the Alox knives, as we see on this one here. That is Alox. It's more sturdy of course, but it's also more heavy, and the price is usually higher as well. So that is something to consider if you want to have the saw blade in it, or the scissor, what is better for your area, or if you want to go with both of the tools and spend more money and have a bit a thicker Swiss Army knife there. The saw blade usually works not only on wood, that works also on plastic and similar materials that are relatively soft. That is not gonna saw metal or something like that. For that it is not made. The scissor is relatively big. That's quite a scissor with its spring there, pretty good size, and has quite an edge. If we compare that with the 58mm scissor, we see there the system is way bigger, way more to cut with the 91mm, so that would help for people that are maybe more in the city area or urban area, where there is maybe less of a wood or something, like the countryside where you would have more forest around, that you could use a wood saw more often or better, and maybe the one that has both of it in combination for be ready for all of that. The price for such an item, if you look in USA, you can have that relatively cheap for about, starting maybe with $8 shipped as a used variation. Replacement scales are about $12, and you get many different variations. And I need to quick point out the plus scale variation. So with the front is always the same. On the back side we see the plus variation has simply here that part more compared to the regular one. We have here a pen, and on top, it's hard to see, is a little hole for a pin, a straight pin. We see here the straight pin. That may not be that much of a tool, but it's in there and it can be handy. It simply slides in. What is way more needed is the pen. It's a pressure loaded pen, works pretty well and writes good. You just need to be careful as you use it that you don't bend it. It's of course more a thinner material, but it's a pressure loaded pen that goes back in here. And all those scales are available in both variation, in all the colors, so it's up to you if you want to spend more money for the pen and the pin in the plus scales, which I would say yes, it's worth it than compared with the regular scales. For storage, as you see in the bag, I would not simply put it in like in the to-go bag or in the bulb or something like that, just simply slide it in. I would always put it in a Ziploc bag like this. That keeps all the dirt out. Problem with Swiss Army knife is that they are riveted together and it's hard to clean once they get really dirty. In Switzerland we had one in the Swiss military that did by accident drop his knife into the sweet tea there, the iced tea. That thing was so sticky, so gummed up inside, it was hardest to clean to at least 80% level, something like that. And once it's gummed up and all that, it's absolute tough, and you have a tool that's not gonna work too well anymore at all. Because it's a riveted construction, you can't take a screwdriver and take it apart. That's one of the main problems with the current Swiss Army knives. You need to make sure that the thing is clean. Also for hunters, if you're gonna hunt and there blood or other fluid from the animal gonna go inside the knife or under the scales, that's gonna be a trouble. So that's just the way it is. So I always put my knives in a simple Ziploc bag, and put it like that in the go bag, so they are for sure protected from any fluid, from any, if it gets wet, if it gets dusty or whatever. It's has a secondary barrier on it, and if you take it out, then it's basically like a brand new knife that's well oiled on the joints. Nothing is getting gummed up by itself over time in storage and all that. It's simply the better solution. So get those knives as you can. I always get a couple, and there is for sure somebody you know of that would appreciate such a knife as well as a gift. If you get it used, that is not even that much money spent compared to the quality of a tool that you're gonna have. Usually if you care it well and not gonna bring it to the airport in USA, such a knife should last you a lifetime, with a bit care, with a bit common sense, that you don't over torque the tools and all that. So those knives are for sure perfect in size, in appearance, in functionality, for the worst situations that may come, or for everyday carry, as you prefer to be prepared and well off.